What's up guys, it's JC back with another video, and I'm trying a new segment out now, and it's called Give Us a Sequel. Every now and again I will be doing something such as this because I was just looking at my games collection, whether it's from PS3, PS2, PS1, what have you, and I just noticed so many video games that need a sequel but has yet to get one. And the one that immediately caught my eye was Heavenly Sword. Heavenly Sword came out in 2007, and it was actually one of the earliest games for the PS3. It wasn't a launch title per se, but it was still within the launch window. So did I enjoy it? Yes. Do I know people that enjoyed it? Yes. And was it a great game? Yes. But again, it fell into a trap, and this is particularly why this game didn't get a sequel. If you're just noticing, you have a female protagonist, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. Nariko is the protagonist, and her family's part of a clan. King Bohan is the antagonist, and he simply put, the story is very simple. He wants what they have, which is the Heavenly Sword. And upon the opening sequence, which is this right here, you're fighting hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of enemies, which is something that can be done, as we're seeing, but something that wasn't usually utilized in this current generation that much. I mean, granted, a lot of developers may have went with graphical enhancements over numerous enemies, because obviously the enemies did take a hit graphically because there's so many of them, but still, Heavenly Sword went there with it. It did things such as that, and that's something you didn't get a chance to see too much of this generation. And one other great thing was they tried to put a lot of variety into the game. As you can see here, there's this one section where you got to shoot down catapults. Now here's a downfall to me. It had something called after touch control. So you shoot the you shoot the cannon, and then you are controlling the direction the cannon is going with your 6-axis controller, which early on in PS3 generation, we try to forget about it, but once you play those early games, they continue to remind you that we did have the 6-axis gimmick that never quite took off. And of course, Sony, being the producer of this game, Ninja Theory was the developer, they wanted everyone to use 6-axis controls in some regard, so they did, and it was actually mandated in this game that you use it, which, oh my goodness, I could not stand those segments. I just wanted to get past them. So that was one thing. Another thing, a lot of people complained, oh, this is just a female God of War. Oh, we'll just wait for God of War to come out whenever that comes out, because we know that's going to be a better game. We know that's going to be the actual flagship fighter, whatever, action adventure game. So we'll hold out on this, which, yes, it bears some resemblance to God of War. Very minimal. The combat, if at the surface, if you're not even scratching the surface, but at the surface, yes, you may look at it and feel that way. But if you've actually played this game, it's nothing like God of War. It shares certain similarities, obviously, quick time events and whatnot, and maybe the basic combat set, but this is a lot more combo driven. God of War, for me at least, yes, there are combos, but you could just kick the shit out of anybody and still manage to make it. This, I feel like this is a little more tactical. But another thing is, it just ended up being a short game. If you really wanted to, you could beat it in one sitting. People averaged it in about 5 hours, and a lot of people didn't want to pay that much, a full $60 game for 5 hours worth of gameplay, which you can't blame people. But I think a lot of people missed out, and I did too as well. I didn't get it upon release. I bought it years later, for obviously a fraction of the price, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But at the time, 5 hour experience, people comparing it to God of War, and on top of that, the PS3 just recently released at the time. Therefore, they only had such a small install base for PlayStation 3 that this game didn't sell well. It didn't sell that well, and Ninja Theory said, you know what? We know what we have on our hands, and we're not going to subject ourselves to that again. We're moving on. We're going multi-platform, and they couldn't take the game with them because Sony produced it. So they just had to pick up and go. Now the thing is, Ninja Theory won't be the developers if another one comes around, but if another one does come around, it'll be a PlayStation exclusive once again, and I have high hopes that another one will, and I'm just going based off of PlayStation All-Stars, where we actually got Nariko as a playable character. And if you notice, there are a lot of other PlayStation All-Stars that missed the boat. Then there's got to be some reason for it. And I don't have any evidence, but that's just my gut feeling. One day, hopefully, they'll revisit this series, and hopefully they'll take the good, iron out the bad, and just make an overall better experience. If it had more time, bigger install base at the time, and a little less gimmicks, I think this game would have fared well. So, and I think Sony knows that, and they're just waiting for the right time to maybe possibly revisit it. But only time's gonna tell. We won't be able to tell. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is one of those games that needs a sequel? If you've played it, do you think that it could be something that people would want to see again? Or do you think it's just kind of run its course? And that made me sad to say. I was a little reluctant to say that, but if it's one of those one and done, then we just gotta enjoy it for what it is, enjoy it for what it was. But I have hopes for a sequel. Maybe with the PS4 on the horizon, maybe not. I just want some opinions. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed the video. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will keep them coming. Alright? Peace.
Utterly average. You need more time.